That's Brian Kelly. He's celebrating a birthday today. 36 years young. Also a member of the Florida-Georgia line.
But sadly, they won't be touring for his birthday, will they?
No, that's right. They are one of many groups that are announcing that they're suspending their tour this year for obvious reasons.
But we got a really great group here that's not suspending their tour.
Yes, but we want to welcome everyone back. This is Happenings Q&A. Frank and Kim Carmichael, Rihanna Stockdale, along with Tom Corso. As always, we're coming to you from the Miller Lite Studios, and we're going to be with you up until 3 o'clock. And, yes, we've been looking forward to this for some time now. It's hard to believe, but it is the final show for our 2021 PB&J Summer Concert Series. And we're ending on a high note because we have Beyond the Blonde performing tonight at 6 o'clock. And two of the members of that band just so happen to be in the studio with us today. Yes, Bobby Edenhofer is... Bobby, how long have you been in music?
I've been playing guitar since I was like 12.
All right.
So, a couple years.
Okay, so...
Been in bands since
years?
I was like 18.
Are you going to be secretive about your age? You don't want us to figure it out? Or
I'm only 24.
Okay. All right. So you've been a musician.
Twice.
You've been a musician for quite some
Yes.
time. All right. So we'll call you a veteran. Not that you look like one, but we'll go with that. Also on board with us is Charity Benavelli. And have you been doing music for quite a while?
A minute. I was about 3 or 4 years old. But no, I won't tell you how many years.
Okay. All right. Okay. We'll circle back. We'll put that in the form of a trick question later on.
That's awfully young, though. How did that start? Was it in church or just in your living room?
It was a family thing. Everybody in my family was musical. So it literally, when I was a baby, the only way they could get me to sleep was hum marches. And if they stopped, I would kick them. That's the story. It's always been the stories.
Well, and it carries forward with your family. You said that your son will be on stage with you tonight.
Yes, he's subbing in for us. He's playing bass.
Awesome. That'll be fun.
All right. Can I ask how long for Beyond the Blonde?
Take it away.
It's almost 2 years, but with the pandemic and everything, we've been on stage for about a year now.
Okay, so things formed before pre-pandemic.
Yes.
And you managed to keep everything together during the COVID virus. Well, that's good to hear.
So
that's good.
Who's instrumental in getting this band together? How did it take place? I mean, who knew who and who said, "Hey, let's give this a try"?
Well, actually, I was in Bobby's band. I had actually retired from music for a while, and I decided to get back into it, and I auditioned for his previous band. And long story short, we just worked really well together. And what started, I always tell everyone this, but I'm being serious. Like, this actually started as a joke. Like everyone always would tell me, like, "Oh, you need to sing more Pink. You need to sing more Pink." Mm-hmm. And what kind of started as a joke, him and I started kind of like throwing ideas back and forth. And then I started meeting with people that are in the industry, getting ideas and input and everything else. And then it just kind of grew into this.
So you sing a lot of Pink in this band.
Yes, Pink and Gwen Stefani and Lady Gaga.
So
Excellent.
this kind of just took on a life of its own.
In a way.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen very often.
No.
No.
It took a couple changes in the beginning, but once we figured out what we wanted to do, it went pretty good, pretty quickly.
So what's the band made up of? Who do you have and who's doing what?
So we have Dan on drums and Ryan on bass. He can't be here tonight because of his work. And then her son, Colin, is going to be playing bass. So it's guitar, bass, drums, and a singer.
So you have to carry it, huh? Primarily, the instrument of the vocalization is on you.
Pretty much.
Based on the artist that you're covering.
Yep.
Yeah. So do you have any kind of regimen that you go through before you perform?
Meaning like vocal warm-ups?
Yes.
Every single day, actually. Not
Do
just
you?
on days I perform. Every single day. I've been working really hard since we started this because my background is actually theater and more rock. So my voice was so conditioned to sing rock and have more of that, rasp and grit in it that when we started doing this, it sounded like a great idea at first.
Mm-hmm.
And after a couple of rehearsals, I was like, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know. I was actually getting really hard on myself because I didn't realize how difficult it was going to be to sing some pop. And from that point, I decided to get a a vocal coach all over again and like start from the basics. And I've strengthened my voice so much that people that have seen me and have been seeing me over the years are like, holy cow, it's like night and day.
So that's interesting. So you've been singing for a really long time, but switching gears required kind of relearning stuff.
Absolutely.
Well, it's a change in style. So you're carrying this when it comes to the vocalization.
Well, don't put that much pressure on her, Frank. She might run out the back door.
It's true, though. It really is. It's true.
Yes. Theater background? You've been active in theater?
Not in a long time, but I was.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually took a back seat. Now it's been 10, 11 years. But yeah, I did original music and theater, and then I kind of took a back seat because it was too much for me. I was also a single mom, and I just had a lot on my plate, put myself through school, and I was doing this all together, and I finally just like hit that wall and got burnt out, and like something's got to give. And unfortunately, I gave up what I was most passionate about because I thought that was what I was supposed to do. And then like 8, 9 years later, I was like, man, something is missing. And I'm like, it's time to get back.
So it sounds like you might be a consummate multitasker. You can do more than one thing at a time.
You can say that. Although it depends on who you ask. Some people are like, she can't multitask.
Bobby?
She can multitask if that's the question. Yeah. Even in practice, she's got her phone, singing, and it's good. I sing a little bit, so I can get a little credit.
There you go.
My drummer does too.
Yeah. We do a little backups, but nothing.
Yes, but just listening to what your playlist is,
I
figure that she's the one doing most of the lifting.
Yes.
Yeah. Is it just around this area, or is there a shortage of good bass players? Because I hear that from musicians around here all the time, that they have trouble finding good bass players.
It's hard to find a bass player, let alone good.
Good.
We got lucky. Our bass players are really good.
But he's not here.
No. He's not. His job is important, so he couldn't. And we had this
Is
plan.
he like CIA
I know, it
or
sounds-
FBI?
Now I'm curious.
We can't tell you.
If he told us, he'd have to kill us.
Exactly.
Well, this is going to be a heck of an interview. We're not getting any ages or what band members do for a living.
We're going to make people curious. They're going to look us up, like start doing some digging.
You can Google and find out everything. So.
All right. So if we did some digging, will we still want you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Yeah.
Nothing too bad.
Okay. Well, for a moment there, I just thought maybe you're in the witness protection program or something.
No.
Is that a fake beard?
No. It's fake hair, but not a beard.
That's your hair.
I know.
Come on.
I'm kidding.
Looks windswept. And,
Took me a long time to get to look like this. So.
Okay. All
Just
right.
for the radio.
Yeah. But are you having fun? That's important.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. And even I can say like our bass player, he came on, his background is very, very different. He comes
obviously.
He has a metal background. So
okay. All right.
And when we first were auditioning him, I must have said to him 100 times, like, are you sure? Is this what you want? And I told Bobby right away, I'm like, I want him. Like his personality, his playing ability, everything. I wanted him, but
yet you were worried he wasn't going to stick, right?
I was just worried, like, because his background is so metal. I was more concerned, like, okay, is he going to come just to try something different, and then all of a sudden 6 months down the road be like, I just can't do it. Like, this isn't me. But his first few shows with us, he's like, man, this is way more fun than I ever thought it was going to be. So it's been a blast. Bobby and I've had an absolute blast during this whole process.
Yeah, but what I've come to realize is a lot of times these bands, the members are far flung. It's not like, they all live in the same neighborhood and get together for practice.
Right.
How about you? Are you all within the same general vicinity, or are some of you from a greater distance?
Not too bad. Like 40, 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Everybody's about 45 minutes. And we rehearse at my house, so I've like the farthest to drive, of course. Like,
yes.
So
Go downstairs.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
And we've talked about that, like maybe moving it to a different location. And he even pointed out to me, he's
something that's more central, you mean?
yeah, but he told me, he's like, you are central. Like, you
Yeah.
are, like, so without one person having to drive too far, it's about 40, 45 minutes each person. So
are you all fibs? Friendly Illinois Brethren.
Oh,
I thought it was
what?
something else.
my
I listened to Brandmeier, so there was a different letter.
Oh,
Yeah,
this
so-
is courtesy of Dobie Maxwell. He refers to Illinoisians as friendly Illinois brethren.
Yes.
Why? Is there another meaning for fib?
Yeah, I couldn't say it on your
Oh.
radio.
All right. Oh,
Illinois is the middle
Never mind.
letter. Is the middle word though? Yeah.
okay. All right. So, are you all from Illinois?
yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is it like living in Illinois? Well,
Interesting.
don't all talk at once.
Right now,
That's all I've
interesting.
ever known. So
Yeah.
you know, I don't.
Yeah.
It's just, and the only reason I ask is it seems like every time a house goes up for sale in our community, we live in Pleasant Prairie. Seems like there's a lot of people from Illinois that are buying these homes.
There are more people moving out of Illinois than moving in right now. For sure. And I mean, I have a ton of friends who are even moving like over the border, Wisconsin, Indiana, just so they can still work where they're working,
Sure.
but be out of the state. So, yeah.
Well, that's
Well, we
gotta
have a
be-
lot of friends that are realtors, so if you know anybody, just send them our way.
There you go.
We'll hook them up.
Well, that's got to be kind of an imbalance for U-Haul. I mean, if there's
Right.
more leaving
Just
than
one
coming,
way.
Yeah.
Well, they're not going too far.
No, that's
We can get those trucks back to U-Haul.
yeah, that's
No
true.
worries.
That's true. What do you think of the music scene these days? What's your thoughts? I mean, not that you have a lot to compare because you haven't been in it that long, but
It's different. It's very different. I mean, not even just the pandemic, but just in time in general, like over time. But right now, it's just so you don't know. I mean, like even shows, we get shows and we can't really promote them right away because it's like, is it going to happen? Is it not? Like what, and everything's so like teetering right now that everyone's afraid to commit to anything. So
Very true.
we kind of just are sitting there like waiting, like, are we playing? Are we not? Like, okay, guys, keep this date. Like, we're supposed to be
scheduled.
playing this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right,
it's
right.
just
I know we often do group trips, and we talked about doing a couple this fall, and we basically just put them on the back burner because you just can't plan anything that far off these
Right.
days.
Yeah.
Right.
yeah, it is difficult. It really is. Yeah, I'm sure that the folks over at Summerfest figured they were playing it real safe by waiting until September
Yeah.
But now, like the Pixies pulled out yesterday.
I know
and
they
think-
would have been better off
I
trying to.
Yeah, they would have been better off staying with
The end of June.
end of June and the first week of July.
But who
In
knew?
retrospect,
Right.
but who knew?
It
But
looked like it was getting better, and now
yeah,
my friend's a driver for a band, and he's like, yeah, we got 3 cancellations now, and it's like we don't know moving forward if the whole tour is going to be canceled. But and you keep hearing it more and more and more on the national level.
yeah, I think Charity nailed it. That everything is just so indecisive. Everything is up in the air.
But hey, tonight is going to be a great
Well,
night.
yeah.
We're
Yeah.
all outdoors. There's a nice
Right.
breeze going. It's
Yeah.
a perfect evening for some live music to come together and celebrate the fact that we can still come together. We can still dance. We can still jam.
Yep.
I am very much looking forward to it.
Charity, you have my personal assurances that we are not canceling tonight.
Well, the rain will stay away too. We had talked about that earlier
Yeah.
when Charity and Bobby came into the studio. That all along the last few days we've been rain, no rain, rain, no rain. But it looks like we have prevailed, and we're going to have a fabulous show tonight. And I think I'm going to make a point of getting down there a little early and make sure that we pull those benches back even just a little bit more, so we have plenty of room to get up in front of that stage and jam and do some dancing.
We
and-
love dancers. We
Perfect.
love them.
and we have a lot of folks in the Kenosha that love to dance. And speaking of promotions, after the break, I'm going to address your method of promoting. It's rather interesting.
Uh-oh.
All right. Well, that's a cliffhanger. All right, we're going to take that break, but when we get back, more with Bobby and Charity. We are back. I want to welcome everyone. This is Happenings Q&A. Frank and Kim Carmichael, Rihanna Stockdale, Tom Corso as well. As always, our show emanates from the Miller Lite Studios, and we have 2 very interesting guests with us here in the studio. Both of them are with the band Beyond the Blonde. It's Bobby Edenhofer,
Hello.
and you're related to Carl.
I am. He's my cousin.
Yes. Carl's an esteemed attorney.
Well,
here
I
in the
hope
area.
he comes down and brings some folks with him to see his cousin perform at PB&J.
I got
tonight.
the word out. All the
Excellent.
Edenhoffers are coming down.
All right.
Well, I hope that they're not too insulted by the fact that our co-sponsor this week is Habish and Rotier.
Yeah.
But you know what? next year there's room for Edenhofer Law to be a co-sponsor.
I will tell them.
All right.
Get out the checkbook.
Also with
I
us,
like your attitude.
Charity Benavelli.
Yep.
And I'm sure you've all heard of the law firm Benavelli and Benavelli. No.
They're very benevolent, from what I've been told.
That's right. That's right. And we are destined for a great show tonight. I think this is a great way to finish up a successful season. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. I'm so looking forward to it. I'm ready to just really let loose and have a good time tonight. It's going to be a great evening. Summertime, we're in the thick of it.
Yeah, summertime and the living is easy. And boy, are we having a hot summer, though, aren't we?
I'm loving it.
Smoking.
Yeah, but the good news is our venue is on the waterfront.
Yeah, get a little lakefront breeze there.
So many times we'll leave our house and it might be stifling hot, and we get down to the site and it's cooler. It's a little more comfortable.
You've heard that cooler near the lake thing before, haven't you?
If we get a breeze off the lake, we're in heaven.
Speaking of cool, I was just perusing your website, which I was very disappointed in myself for not looking at sooner, because it's great. And Charity, you look absolutely gorgeous in that Hawaiian type of dress you got going there, but man, are you hot in some of these outfits. Will we be seeing you bringing out any of those for PB? Hold on, Frank. I'll give it. Frank's now reaching for my phone. Let me see. I'll let you see
Very
afterward.
Gwen Stefani, Lady Gaga, pink-esque.
Yes. Absolutely. So I hope you brought at least one really cool outfit for tonight.
There's 3.
Awesome.
Oh, you're going to change?
Yes.
Awesome.
I love that.
Yes.
But in addition, on your website, I found this entertaining. I'm scrolling through here, and here we are, August 26th, 6 p.m. The Jammer has used his ethereal powers to animate the stone soldiers of Memorial Park to threaten the town and create his evil lair. Come and watch Beyond the Blonde use her vocal superpowers to subdue one of the nemesis and save the people of Kenosha. This is going to be a hell of a show. Where the heck did that come from?
So my husband is actually the creative person behind Beyond the Blonde. Our logo, our any of our posters, anything. It's all his mind. But it kind of stems from our brand is more about comic, more of like a comic look and theme, with me being a huge Wonder Woman fan since I was little.
I noticed the Wonder Woman tattoo.
Yes. And so it just kind of stemmed from that, and he likes to have fun with it, and every show he'll create a storyline, and he's super proud of himself.
So will he be here tonight?
No.
Rooting you on?
No.
Aw, shucks. I would have liked to meet him. It sounds like he's got a very creative mind.
That would be kind of cool at the end of the season to put the book together, and then you've got kind of something to look back on in years in the future and remember the year.
That's actually not a bad idea.
A coffee table book.
There you go.
We'll sell those at our merch table.
You actually probably could do something like that with what's the Snapfish or whatever those.
The Snapchat.
Snapchat.
No,
yeah.
There is
Shutterfly.
a Snapfish.
Shutterfly.
And
That's what I was
Chatbook.
thinking of.
There you go. There's so many of them.
We all know what
Yep.
we're talking about. We just couldn't quite.
Huh?
What?
What are you
Frank's
talking-
saying he has no idea what we're
He
talking
still
about.
wants to see the pictures. BeyondTheBlondeBand.com. Check them out.
Absolutely, but if that doesn't inspire you to come out and see the show at PB&J tonight, I don't know what would.
Can I just throw a plug in for Henry Cho before the...
Please do.
Yeah, Henry's performing this weekend at the Kenosha Comedy Club, both Friday and Saturday. We have 3 shows. Tickets are still on sale.
Yes, go to haptoit.com. We've got a show on Friday at 8 o'clock and a show on Saturday at 5:30 and 8 o'clock. So plenty of times to choose from. Like I said, go to haptoit.com or call our front desk, 262-564-8800. It's going to be a great show.
Bobby, you're way too young to remember the 90s, but Henry was the host of NBC Friday Night Videos back in the mid-90s.
I do remember the name, and I'm seeing the picture. I know exactly who he is.
And Henry's a
He's a funny
snappy
guy.
dresser, but he's got nothing on you, Charity.
Yeah, so...
Let's hope not, right?
That'd be a different comedy show.
I've seen the outfits. I don't know.
So now, you originally said you started singing Pink in the band that you were in with Bobby previously.
Yes.
And then did the two of you kind of collaborate and say, okay, we're going to just do a Pink cover band, and then realize, oh, we got to incorporate Gaga and Gwen Stefani as well, or did that kind of just evolve, or how did that whole thing happen?
So actually, somebody had said to me, had made a joke about doing a Pink tribute, and then at first, and I say this every time and he's going to laugh, but he knows it's true, I went to him because he's very funny, like when you're in his band, like he's very funny, like if you're going to do anything outside of the band. So I'm like, all right, how am I going to tiptoe around this, like telling them about this? But I wanted him to be I knew I wanted him to be part of it from the beginning. So that was also like having him like, would you be willing to do this as well? And getting some input from outsiders and somebody who, that's what he does. He puts bands together, and he's a talent buyer and a manager. And he's like, do you want my honest opinion? And I'm like, absolutely. And he's like, don't do it. And I'm like, oh, that is not what I was expecting to hear. And long story short, he basically said that if I do a Pink tribute, he's like, you have to 100% step into it, like cut your hair, you're gonna have to start learning the aerial stuff, when people go to see like a true tribute to just one artist, they are basically going to see that artist. And he goes, and even then you don't know how well it's going to do, because normally you see tributes, the ones that do well are because the artist or the band are no longer touring, or they're deceased. So I was like, ugh. So him and I just throwing ideas back and forth and not focusing on just one, but multiple. Were like, okay, these three make sense because these are the three biggest names in the industry. So, and then it gives a little bit of variety where it's not just one person. And we feel like when we go out there and we play, like someone might not be a big fan of Gwen, but a huge fan of Lady Gaga, or, or a huge fan of Pink, or maybe 2 out of 3, or some all 3.
Right. It opens up
Yes.
the fan base a little bit.
Yes.
Cover the bases.
Yes.
Absolutely. Makes a lot of sense. And do you find that you enjoy performing as one rather than the others, or do you like all 3 of them equally?
It's funny because there's something about each one that I love more than the other ones. Gwen, I've always been a big No Doubt fan since before they went commercial.
Yeah, but how do you
and
feel about
mainstream.
Blake Shelton?
Oh my God, I love him. I love them together.
Oh, my
They're
daughter
so-
was so excited when she was watching Blake at Country Thunder. I got a text, Gwen's here.
Yeah. It's so, because they're so different, but they're so cute together. So I'm just like obsessed with those two.
Okay. But you love your husband.
Of course.
Unequivocally.
Of course.
Just wanted to get that out there.
Yeah, but I love doing the No Doubt stuff because of the energy, and it's more like, it's like pop rock. It's not like, too poppy, and it's too, and it's just, the energy is very different. Gaga, she's so weird, and the costumes are more fun, like for me, but I don't move around as much during Gaga. And then,
Well, you might knock over Tony Bennett.
That was our surprise.
Yeah. Darn it.
He's waiting at the stage.
Well, I've got a Kenny Chesney you can borrow, but I don't have a Tony Bennett.
And then Pink, she's the most challenging for me vocally. Gaga is actually pretty challenging too, but Pink is the most challenging with a lot of stuff. Like, she's right at the top of my range, and that was one I really, really had to work at.
I think she's challenging to be married to.
She's a very strong woman.
Oh, yes.
Well, in more ways than one. I mean, physically too.
Yeah.
You had mentioned previously the acrobatics and all of that go into a Pink concert, which is
She's an amazing athlete. Like, I've watched a lot of behind the scenes stuff of what she does to train. It's no joke. She's a fantastic athlete.
Well, it looks like you've been working out and keeping yourself very strong as well. But we won't be seeing any aerial acts tonight, right?
Absolutely not.
No.
Well, that is fine by me. It looks like it's going to be a hell of a show regardless. Looking forward to it.
If you're just joining us, Bobby Edenhofer is with us, Charity Benevelli, and they comprise part of the band Beyond the Blonde, one half of it, actually. It's going to be performing tonight. We recommend that you get there a little early to get a good seat. And what's the latest on the weather? We're good?
Perfect. That's all I got to say about that.
I wouldn't go so far as to say
In my
perfect.
book,
Could be a little bit cooler.
I love it hot. That's what I mean.
Like our men.
8 p.m. Oh, okay. It is going to be perfect. 7 p.m., 77 and sunny.
Oh,
perfect.
77. Yeah, I can take that.
I mean, I prefer 80 something, but 77 and sunny is perfect for most people.
All right. So you have no control over the weather. Actually, you have very little control over a lot of things that go into your performances. Do you have a show that, for whatever the reason, it just became that gig from hell?
Not so far with this band.
Okay. Well, we'll go back to a previous
Don't curse
band.
it, Frank.
Well, we're going to go to a previous band, and
It's
that's
not going to be tonight.
Yeah, I'd say most of the issues ever throughout my bands has been sound issues, where the song guys don't really care, if they don't like the songs or whatever. We've had where we're getting feedback and the sound guys outside having a smoke break.
Well, you won't get that from
Yeah.
Kevin Kamen. He's a
No.
great sound
No,
guy.
he's a consummate professional.
You'll be
He
very
really is,
pleased with him.
He's a good guy. I've
All
talked.
right.
He's good.
Yeah. So have you ever showed up at a gig and it's like, how the hell? Why did they book us here? Did you ever have a mismatched booking?
Yeah, I've had that too.
Yeah.
Way back in my original music days, we had a cancellation of a show. So our promoter put us on a bill with a national touring act, but the whole concert was all thrash metal, and we were like a pop rock band.
Oh, no.
So it was fun because we were like literally getting stuff thrown at us, and their MF and our singer.
Oh, my
It
gosh,
was a
you're
challenge. I
kidding
just
me.
told the band just play a little faster.
But
And bang your head a
Yeah,
little
exactly.
bit every now and then.
It was 45 minutes, and we still, the guys from that band still remembered finally that it was a challenge. We accepted it, and
Hey, I guess if that's one of the worst things that's
Yeah.
happened to you in your band life, it's not so bad, right?
It was fun.
How about you, Charity?
I have never had like a complete disaster of a show or a place where I've played where I'm like, oh my gosh. I mean, there's, we've played like even with our last band, like we've played a couple like, dive bars, but it wasn't awful. Like the crowd was still good, and we still had fun with it because we were still able to do what we love to do. But I don't think ever in all my years of doing this, I can't recall like a place to be like, oh my God, where am I?
But and you mentioned the crowd. How important is the feedback you get from the crowd to your show?
Oh, huge. It will make the energy from the crowd. We'll bring as much energy as we can, but the more energy the crowd gives us, the crazier we'll get on stage. So it
Gotta
is.
feed off it.
Yeah.
Well, and we ever so briefly touched on your theater background and the pandemic, and that is so sad that's such a big chunk that was missing from all of us for so long. That synergy that you get from interacting with fans and the crowd interacting with each other. I think that's so very important.
Yeah.
There's nothing like live music to bring out the. I saw a T-shirt that somebody had on the other day that said, "Live music is the only therapy we need," and I'm like,
Yeah.
that is kind of true.
It's
I
true.
mean,
And
you can
it's
bring a lot of people together with that.
And even though we've gotten that piece back, it's still hard when you're restricted and limited, because like I used to be one that would run out into the crowd and like interact with people. I can't do that anymore. So it's almost like, or they're, they'll have like things up in front so nobody gets too close, or you're not. And it's so there's still like that barrier where mentally it still kind of messes with you a little bit. Like it's like, okay, we're back, but we're not back.
Remember when we used to blow out candles on a cake and then we would all cut it up and eat it?
Yeah.
Now we're using
Yeah.
fans to
Yeah.
blow out the candles.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So
Well, you could go in a bubble suit, go out in the audience.
Yeah. Remember the John Travolta movie?
Yeah.
Again, you're spoiling our show. Tony Bennett and the bubble suit. I got to drive home. We got to get a new costume.
So you're not Tony Bennett, are you?
No.
Okay, but
No.
give me a couple artists that you really enjoy.
My favorite band is Motley Crue.
Okay.
That era, Van Halen, Rat. I like the stuff that we play. The artist, I tell people it's very not guitar driven, but it's fun to play. So I enjoy listening to that. There's some new bands. I don't really know the names. You just hear the songs.
So were you previously in bands that played that kind of 80s heavier rock that you're talking about?
Yeah, a little more. But we did the band that we were in before. We did the hair band stuff, but we did Bruno Mars and Journey, Neil Diamond, the gamut of the cover band songs.
The stuff that gets people enthused and
It's the
interacting
stuff,
with you.
The songs that we might not necessarily want to play, but when everyone's dancing to it, it works. So,
Are you surprised that there are artists out there such as the Rolling Stones? Well, sadly, Charlie
Minus
Watts.
Charlie.
Yeah, but are you a bit surprised to see that some of these performers are still touring? Did you? Let me back up. 30, 40 years ago, did you ever imagine that they'd still be out there working?
wasn't even born 30 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Remember? No, I know what you're saying though. Well, the Stones, didn't they retire in '82 for the first time? It's something that they still are doing it, and I know they're probably still going to tour regardless of Charlie Watts passing.
Right.
Well, they had already found a
Yeah,
replacement
right.
drummer to go out. So
And
prior to
I
Charlie's
think that
passing.
now the music industry in that world has changed. Obviously, the Stones don't need money, but for the bands of the lower bands, they have to tour because the record sales
Right.
are
There's
gone.
there is no revenue from that side.
So they have to, and then with this, it's I wouldn't think still like Paul McCartney just toured 2 years ago.
And put on a hell of a show.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah, the
I would have liked to have
Marathon
gotten
Man.
that,
Yep.
but I didn't want to mortgage my house for a ticket.
I know, isn't that the
It's-
truth?
Yeah. Charity, just speculate for a moment. Why do you think the Stones are still going out? Is it to get away from the wives?
You never know. I think it's just they love what they do, and I think that's with a lot of these, bands and musicians, like that's what they love. That's what they're passionate about, and they're going to do it until they can't do it anymore. And I even say that about us, like even though, we're doing the cover thing now, like I still, like I stepped away from it at one point and there was 100% something that was just, there was a void there. There was something that I missed. There's something there that like I needed to, fill. And I think it's with all these, bands and musicians, artists, they do it because, it's great that they make some of them a fantastic living off of it, but they do it because they truly
And you
love
mentioned
it.
previously the energy you get from the crowd. I would imagine that's got something to do with it. I mean, that's
absolutely.
something that kind of fulfills you as a performer.
Yeah, it makes you feel young too. The next day we're like going and on and texting each other how much pain we're in. But
For the 3 hours, we're good. We're 21 for those 3 hours.
So can you imagine what it must be like for Mick Jagger the next day?
God,
Well, they can afford to have like masseuses, and they
right.
play every
Yes,
couple
yeah.
days. And
Of course,
but
yeah.
that guy's at a high level. He's been Mick Jagger since he was 20.
You know,
So
that's-
it's amazing watching him still.
And we had a conversation recently. Frank was saying, so what happens when Mick Jagger's so old he's no longer cool? I say, I don't think that'll ever happen.
Yeah.
So what? He'll have a
And
tricked out walker?
if that ever happens, if it ever gets to that point, we just won't see him. He'll just
Right.
He'll just go behind the closed doors, and we'll never see him.
Well, he had a
Because
heart
he's
attack
still
or
cool.
heart surgery, and 3 weeks later they're touring again.
Yeah.
So the
But you
guy's-
don't know that, Kim. I mean, look
I
at
know.
look at
That's
Tony
just my
Bennett.
guess.
Look at Tony Bennett. I mean,
Yeah.
he was a shell of his former self, and he was still out there touring.
That's true.
And I don't know why. I mean, maybe because of the love of music and what have you, or maybe it's like, hey, we're going to make as much money off of Tony as we can until there's no more.
You,
But
you do have a point.
but
I just refuse to try and visualize Mick Jagger not being cool. That's all.
and even like I look at it like my grandfather when he passed away, he was a workhorse, always worked, and everyone always said like he stops working, it's not going to be too much longer, he's going to go, and that's exactly what happened. And I think even same thing with musicians. I mean, they might
Could
not
be.
be able to move like they did 30, 40 years ago, but it's still a matter of they're doing what they love to do.
That's a good point, because I did read in the case of Tony Bennett, okay, with the dementia setting in, but the one thing that still seemed to have clarity was he remembered the songs. He would take that hour or hour and a half every day and practice.
Yeah, and I guess
And
if he
that's-
was still getting joy out of it,
Yeah,
then that's
I mean,
what's
and that
important.
was when he was, when he was seemed to be the most lucid. So maybe there's something to that. Maybe if
Listen-
Mick Jagger stops touring, that's when he starts to.
Well, and remember with Glenn Campbell too. He was.
yeah, that was
I mean,
sad.
that was sad because it got to the point where
Right,
they
yeah,
were
he-
having to feed him lines of the song and whatnot. But I remember his wife saying that we're not putting him out here as a showpiece.
Yeah.
We're putting him out there because he still wants to do this.
It wasn't as a freak show.
Right.
But that was painful. That was, when the audience starts to feel embarrassed for the performer.
I don't know if embarrassed. Maybe
awkward. It's very awkward.
Maybe
when the performer can't remember
compassion right. They feel sorry for him. Maybe is the word. Yeah, not going to happen tonight.
No. Hopefully.
Teleprompters?
No.
Oh my gosh.
That's a new thing.
Yeah.
Teleprompters are.
I know. I'm seeing that. I'm seeing that more and more.
And we make jokes about it all the time, but I always say, like, singers, you have one job. You have one job. Like, learn your lyrics, even if it's covers. Like, learn your songs. When I see teleprompters or iPads or anything, it's like nails on a chalkboard. I'm like,
but it's becoming more and more common.
Yeah.
We've got to wrap this up. I want to thank both of you coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
And we'll be seeing you in action in 3 hours?
3 hours.
6 p.m. Veterans Memorial Park, PB&J, featuring Beyond the Blind.